Okay, so was is Storyline Marketing a startup? Were they already going and you got brought on, or did you help found that, or how did that
Yeah,
get
I
going?
created that. Yeah, that was
You start. That's what I was wondering. You founded it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you got that client that paid you $20,000 and you started this company from nothing, that's got to be like an amazing feeling. I mean, you've like officially made it. That's got you enough money that you can kind of like whatever. Maybe you were already 100% in, but that
That was
seems like
definitely a
a
confidence
big
boost for
deal.
sure. Yeah, no, it was not to cut you off. I don't know if you're gonna
No,
add
no,
anything.
that's perfect.
No, it was definitely it's a paradigm shift. So it's not. It was definitely a lot of money at one time, but just to break the paradigm of asking for that amount of money and justifying it, because I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to make sure that I was bringing the value to whatever I was asking. So that was one thing that's always been important to me because there's a lot of people that will. I've just never known how to sell myself in the sense of I've never known how to sell myself in the sense of just doing it in a way where it wasn't 100% congruent. I've never knew how to like expand on that. So that's one thing I've always had to learn. In terms of just, I've always wanted to do it in a very transparent and organic way. So that's something that I had to get to the point of doing where now I have irrefutable evidence of just people just winning. I have a system. I understand how to again be a master communicator of telling people how we're going to succeed for their business in the process in doing that. But that was definitely a big paradigm shift of being able to get 50% of that down and get that upon completion. And then again, it's more exciting to even offer that to someone else because the person that paid me that is still with me to this day. That was in 2022. I recommend clients do it at least once a year. But one thing that we've done for him is we helped him hire. We had told him to hire somebody in house to get content to send our team daily. Um, so we edit that every single month to make different Netflix narratives to then advertise where he's the obvious choice. And so like he's been since we started, we were at almost 10 million views. Like six million of those views are paid at, or organic, and then 4 million or no, yeah, 4 million, 5 million of those views are from paid ads where people have viewed the videos that we posted every day and made as advertisements. And so he has the brand equity that is irrefutably just dominating his market, and nobody is coming to mind for his business because nobody has the personality and overall no one has the consistency of advertising in his market where we're putting a couple of $1,000s in this every single month where he's able to double his business to get 16 return on ad spend every single month. But it all started with that investment, and so that goes into the whole justification of you know spending that money. It's just a matter of putting it together. For me, again, I can only speak on me, but for me, I was more so wanting to make sure that if I'm going to offer that, I want to be able to justify it. And so I was able to lay it down. And therefore, ever since then, that was a referral. That was something that I've been able to put in the details to help people see the outcome. And that's one thing I was saying earlier to help bring him on the team, to help these businesses. Because I've been in situations recently where I had one client that came through a Facebook ad I was advertising, and we had to stop the ads because we brought him too much business. He was like, "Hey, I can't handle this. Can we turn it off? We got to focus on hiring," which is a cool thing, but it's definitely inconvenience to like. Okay, we started. I brought him out here to do a podcast because he was in Albuquerque, so I'm in Scottsdale. He's in Albuquerque, so it wasn't like a long flight, but we did like a smaller production than that. It wasn't that big of a investment. We did something smaller where I just came out there, not my production crew, and then I had him come into the podcast studio here in the valley that I have access to, and then we did 2 episodes, 2 hours of that, and then we went to his facility. I went out to his facility, and then I brought my microphones and my phone, and then we filmed for a day and a half, and then we've been putting stuff together ever since March, and we took April off, and then we started back in May 28th. But that is a scenario where his systems, or he wasn't able to handle because he didn't have enough staff, where things were breaking. And so that's where, for me, it makes it more exciting because now the value is bigger. I was talking to Anthony. I was like, hey, we got to do something, because everybody I talk to, they either they say the same answer of, oh, I can handle whatever, to, once we get to a certain point where they probably can't handle the business if we do bring it to them. So I have to like prepare people, which is a great thing to have, but it's genuine because it doesn't make sense to stop when we just started. So that's like another element that I'm learning about, again, reflecting on everything of how can we make this offer better and foolproof, and something that can be a part of their financial budget from years to come, because this is a standard. It's not just something they need to do with me. They need to do this when they're not working with me. Because why would you not tell the story of your business, but you be consuming, the story of all these other businesses, but then complain that, social media doesn't work. So for me, I'm, as Storyline Marketing, as founder of that, I'm always thinking of things in that format. So I'm always staying up, and I'm always pushing these business owners to that next level to make a narrative as opposed to consuming one. Because if you do that, then you'll have the extra car counts, or the higher repair orders, or the more phone calls that you want for your business, because you're producing more of a narrative than you are consuming. And then it's just going to be very obvious, because most business owners don't do what I'm talking about, which is why I'm just all in on it. It's such a value. It's something that I feel I'm one of the few that are really connecting that bridge. And that's why we have the big audacious goal to go ahead and lock down 50 markets this year, whether they hire us as a consultant and we tell them how to utilize their money, or they become a client of Storyline Marketing and implement it, and then we can teach it at scale. But nobody's doing it. It's always a
What is
lot.
when you say market? Sorry to cut you off, but is that a client, or is that, what do you mean a market? When you say I think you said earlier you have 12 or so many markets and your goal is 50 markets.
Oh, what is
What
that?
is a,
So example. So right now we got 8. We've implemented the Storyline Marketing, the obvious choice appointment system is what we call it, as far as like the niche of everything. But we've successfully implemented it for 12. Right now we're working with 8. As of next week, maybe 9. Like literally, I'm like simultaneously texting this garage company, because he was like, can you show me? I've been talking to this guy for like a month, but overall, his market. So in this case, a local market, since we work with a lot of local businesses. So right now, working with the garage company in Colorado. I will only exclusively work with a garage door company. Storyline Marketing will only work with a garage door company in Colorado, and we won't compete with any. We won't take on a client in his local market that's another garage or repair company, because one of the things that a lot of agencies do and a lot of local businesses have issue with is that they have a lot of agencies that like to work against each other, where they'll take 5 clients in Colorado and then they'll advertise for all 5 of them when you're bidding against all 5. So for me, I'm giving exclusivity to every person that I work with. So let's say you had a cleaning business in Washington, and then you're like, hey, can you help me dominate inside of a 50-mile radius of my area? I will give you that exclusivity, where I won't work with anybody inside that 50-mile radius. So A, make it apparent that you're dominating, and B, not to make it, I don't want to make it harder for you, which I don't think it would, but in general, I want to make it harder for you to advertise what we're doing, where essentially we're fighting against each other. So I'm giving that to clients, and that's something that a lot of people are receptive to that I've talked to as of recently, to have given that exclusivity, because a lot of them are facing that issue where they're like, hey, I have an issue with agencies working with competitors, and therefore I don't want that. And they're finding this out after the fact. So I've talked to a lot of business owners, and especially last 30 to 60 days running ads, and I've heard that a lot more than I haven't. So that's been really, really interesting in that sense. But that's what I mean by market. So like Anthony, he works in Gallup. So Gallup, New Mexico. Anthony owns Gallup, New Mexico. We got Brian. Brian is in Albuquerque. He's been seeing Anthony's ads, he owns Albuquerque. They're over 200 miles separate from each other. So they both have exclusivity rights under Storyline Marketing, where we will implement our system, or they will be a client under ours and no one else in terms of competitors.
But they have
So
the same business, like these two people.
similar. Yeah. So Anthony does repairs more so on automotives and trucks, and then Brian focuses more so on semi trucks. He does do automotive, but his majority of his business is known for diesel, semi truck, box truck repairs, and then Anthony does more so upgrades and repairs on like actual like trucks, like lifted trucks and things of that nature. So, but they have some things that do overlap. But just from an example standpoint, let's just say they offer the exact same thing. I would work with both of them because they both clear a 100-mile radius or 50-mile radius of one another. But if they intertwined, I wouldn't be able to do it. So just out of the original agreement that we've set for Storyline Marketing to set ourselves apart, because a lot of people have an issue with that, but we just want to make it clear. Like I want to be able to reference 50 markets in the United States, whether it be like what city are you living?
I'm in Belfair, Washington, which is on the Olympic Peninsula.
Yeah, so Belfair, Washington. I say Belfair, Washington, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Phoenix, Arizona, or Tucson, Arizona. See, like Tucson, it's like 50 or 100 miles away. It's way more than that. It's way more than 50 miles away from Phoenix. And I say there are 2 repair shops in that area. I'll be able to work with those. But that is what we're offering. And that's what I mean by markets per se, where it's typically local. And so there's typically not overlap. But the urgency we want to give to business owners is they want to be, they don't want to wait, because if they do wait, which is what we're doing in our advertisements, and their competitors reach out to us, you're going to see us make them the obvious choice. So those that are really looking to be on the offensive really push people to make a decision now, because if we work with somebody in your area and they have the same business, then we can't work with you if you're inside that radius that we've given to our clients that we do work with. So that's what I mean by that. And so we work with 12. Right now we have eight clients that are actively profiting inside the local businesses, like chiropractor, like mainly automotive and home service is where we just have a knack. It's just kind of rinse and repeat. We do take other industries, but typically it's all local business. But we're right now inside of 12 markets as far as the systems. 8 people are actively clients of ours, and so we're now climbing into 50. And so we want to give that exclusivity to at least 50, so we can reference that, so we can again save small businesses in America, because the content that we make for them is just so unique, because everyone's got a unique story. It's not any copy and paste. A lot of agencies want to copy and paste. How can I delegate, do the bare minimum? We want to go all in with the production. This is why we have a hefty cost for the production. And then for that production, we'll have hours of content that we'll be able to edit every single month. And then we'll be able to advertise different campaigns, unique campaigns that make you so distinguishedly different that the influx will be so night and day. And then as time goes on, we're going to just collect viewership of your content that makes you the obvious choice. And that's what typically happens, because nobody tells a story. It's always the bare minimum. And if they do a video, it's very low effort, low budget. It's not the abundance that we go for. So again, if we're going to spend time with you for a day or 2 or 3 days, we're going to get a good amount of content. We're going to get hours and hours and hours of content. We're going to go see your customers that love you. We're going to ask your staff questions that we know that they answer on a regular basis. We're going to ask you why you're different. We're going to get details of your services. I like to say we're going to treat. I tell everybody. So I tell everybody, like, I want you to treat your business like Steve Irwin. We're going to get so detailed with your business as if you're Steve Irwin and you're on camera and you're giving us detail of what's happening. That's the mentality that these business owners need to get in before we go and see them, because that's the redundancy that business owners need in order for them to trust you. It might seem like, oh, this is stupid. No, this is what they need. This is what they need to trust you, because most industries in blue collar, let alone any, have negative connotations. So if you want to rewrite that narrative, what's the best way to do it is to have customers that vouch for you, share and show why you've got 5-star reviews. You got to leverage that so you can beat that, and therefore beat the misconception or the bad stigma that you have around your business.